Hello world, welcome to season 1, episode 1 of Insights and Data Explained. Let's take a look at a graph that we might encounter in the real world in the health industry. Go ahead and pause this video and take a look at this graph here that measures the number of people with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder at a global scale. Okay, let's check back in. Surely you've read the basics of the graph. So let's go over it as a group and examine what types of statistics that we're looking at here. So the first thing that might be important when we're looking at a graph is this data sourced from anywhere? And so we're looking at this page here. There's a lot of information, and usually in like academic texts, the credit will be listed in the bottom left corner. So let's look at that. Okay. So we do see here data source is IHME, Global Burden of Disease 2024. Um, for the sake of time, I'm not going to do this in the video, but it's definitely a necessary step to first research where your data comes from, A, and B, does the data come from a credible source? So step two, let's examine the scale of the axes of this graph. So the x-axis here is looks like it's measuring years, although it's not labeled. So that's a problem. But I guess we can infer that this graph is data that's was observed in from 1990 to year 2021. Step three, let's read the title of the graph. So, number of people with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder world. Okay, so I guess from the title of the graph, we can infer that this graph estimates the number of people who have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or more commonly also known as ADHD. Step four, let's look at the y-axis as well, because any graph would have it has at least two dimensions, and we need to know what two variables that we're comparing as a start. So this graph starts from 0, and looks like it increments by 10 million um, at every checkpoint. This is a good sign and a good practice because each each unit increases by a constant amount, and the distance between each increment is equal. So that makes our data easier to read and more reliable when we're trying to make additional inferences. So in summary, we of this graph, we looked at four things. First, where is the data sourced? Is the data sourced from anywhere, and can we trace the data back to a credible resource? Step two, what is the graph title? Step three, what is the scale of the x-axis and what is the variable? And step four, what is the y-axis measuring